Three words that move the universe. Three words that move the universe are not a slogan, not a superstition, not a shiny trick for desperate hours. They are the quiet keys Florence Scovel Shinn said would open doors you forgot were even there. Three words that move the universe. And tonight, I want you to hear them the way a thirsty traveler hears water, not as theory, as a lived, electric reality. Because somewhere beneath your daily routines, beneath your tired sentences and the reflexive "I can't," there is a cosmic counter already listening to you, and it has been listening all along. Imagine this. The universe has a hidden customer service desk, not the kind with fluorescent lights and long lines and bored clerks tapping their nails. This is a luminous, silent counter, instant, precise, without bureaucracy, without delay. No forms, no pleading, no waiting room. You don't even have to raise your voice. You only have to speak or think, and the request is already stamped, already processed, already on its way. The strange part is that most people don't realize they're ordering every minute of their lives. Each word is a purchase. Each thought is a receipt. Each complaint is a confirmation. And without noticing, they ask for spoiled fish when fresh roses are on the menu. They repeat lack when a banquet is available. They whisper defeat while the shelves of victory stand open. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that these three words are the master code, that life is not random, but arranged by language, by faith spoken aloud, by imagination impressed on the subconscious, by divine supply responding to the tone of your inner voice. And if you stay with me, you'll see why she insisted that a single phrase can turn the whole tide of your world, and why the universe never argues with your order. It only delivers. So let's step into this story together. There is a moment in every life when a person stands in front of their own reality like it's a locked storefront. They look through the glass and see what they don't have: the relationship that didn't heal, the money that didn't stretch, the body that aches, the dream that feels too far away. And then, almost without thinking, they say something like, "Nothing ever works out for me. I don't have enough. I'm not the kind of person who gets that." Maybe you've said one of those. Maybe you've said it this week. Maybe you've said it so often it feels like a simple description of the weather, like you're just stating facts. But Florence would lean forward right here, eyes kind, voice certain, and say, "You aren't describing the situation. You're placing an order." Because the universe isn't sarcastic. It doesn't know when you're joking. It doesn't interpret the way humans interpret. It is a mirror with perfect memory, a servant with flawless attention. If you speak lack, it marks lack. If you confess failure, it hands you the next chapter of failure. Not because it is cruel, but because it is obedient to the law of words. And here is the scene I want you to feel. You are standing before an infinite storehouse, endless aisles. On one side, shelves stacked with limitation: debt, disappointment, illness, closed doors, heavy mornings. On the other side, shelves overflowing with opportunity: love that fits, health that glows, work that fulfills, money that circulates, peace that lasts. You hold a basket, and every sentence you speak is a hand reaching out. Every sentence selects a product. Every sentence says, "Yes, this one." When you say, "I'm unlucky in love," your hand slides toward the shelf of heartbreak. When you say, "I don't have money," you tuck another box of scarcity into your basket. When you, "I can't do it," you choose another package of obstacle. And the cosmic attendant smiles politely, stamps your receipt, and sends more of that to your door. Express delivery, free shipping, right on schedule. Pause a second and notice what you feel. Is there a sting? A kind of recognition? Because if there is, that's not shame. That's waking up. Florence never meant for this teaching to crush you. She meant for it to free you. If your life has been shaped by your words, then your life can be reshaped by your words. That's not guilt, that's power. What if the delay you've been calling bad luck was just the universe waiting for a clearer order? Let's bring this down to earth for a moment. There is a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, a kind of hidden gatekeeper. It filters reality and highlights only what matches your dominant beliefs. That's why, when you decide you want a red car, you suddenly see red cars everywhere. They were always there. Your mind just didn't select them before. Your words instruct that gatekeeper. When you repeat, "I can't," your mind begins to scan for proof that you can't. When you say, "Nothing works," your attention becomes a magnet for evidence of things falling apart. When you declare, "I always get left behind," your subconscious steers you toward experiences that confirm that story, because it wants to be right more than it wants to be happy. So yes, there is mystery here, and yes, there is spirit, but there is also structure. Your spoken word is not a feather drifting in the air. It is a seed planted in the nervous system, and it blooms outward into your choices, your posture, your courage, your timing, your results. Florence called this the law of the spoken word, and she was blunt about it. You cannot speak one way and live another. Your life follows your language. That might sound like a storm at first, but it's actually a lighthouse. Because if language has been the invisible author of your fate, then language can become your conscious pen. And right here, within the first steps of this journey, I want to invite you into a simple moment of engagement. Not because this is a video, but because this is a turning point. Comment one short phrase below. "I'm choosing better words." Just that. Let it be your first receipt in a new direction. Now let's go deeper. Because Florence didn't leave us with a vague command to think positive. She gave an exact spiritual technology. She said there are 3 master keys, 3 seed words that carry the blueprint of creation, words that reorganize the garden of your life, words that open the eye of faith and align you with divine supply. And those 3 words are, I am, I have, I choose. 3 small gates, 3 thunderbolts wrapped in syllables. If you use them consciously, you speak in the language the universe understands. Let's walk through them like travelers entering a temple, not as tourists, but as heirs. 1. I am, the word of identity. I am is not just a phrase, it is a name tag for your soul. Florence would say, whatever follows I am is what you consent to become. Your subconscious accepts it as a divine decree. The universe accepts it as a blueprint, and life begins rearranging itself around that identity. When you say, I am broken, the mirror says, yes. When you say, I am always overlooked, the mirror says, of course. When you say, I am not enough, the mirror says, let me show you evidence. But here is the miracle. The mirror does not care which label you choose. It will magnify any label you place upon yourself. So if you dare to say, I am blessed, I am guided, I am capable, I am loved, I am prosperous, I am whole, the same obedient universe begins gathering evidence for that. It is like a supermarket where every item is already in stock, and your I am is the label slapped on the can. The world reads the label and responds accordingly. Florence taught that imagination is the scissors of the mind. It cuts a new pattern for reality. I am is how you hold those scissors steady. Listen carefully. You don't have to wait until you feel blessed to say I am blessed. You say it because you are aligning with the truth beneath appearances. You're planting identity in divine soil. And here's your next hook to carry forward. What if the person you've been waiting to become is one sentence away? 2. I have, the word of possession. I have is the voice of ownership. Not arrogance, not denial, ownership. People often live in a tragic chant. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have support. I don't have a chance. And the universe, being a faithful attendant, writes it down. This one does not have. Then it sends more experiences of not having. Florence said this is why so many prayers fail. They are laced with the very thing the person is trying to escape. They pray from fear rather than from faith. But when you say, I have divine supply, you shift from begging into receiving. When you say, I have health unfolding in me, you plant a seed of restoration. When you say, I have right opportunities finding me now, your mind opens to doors it used to walk past blind. I have is not pretending. It is declaring the spiritual fact before the material evidence. The farmer doesn't look at bare soil and say, there is no corn. He says, corn is here in seed form. Then he waters it. Your I have is watering. If you declare, I have prosperity flowing through my life, even if your bank account looks tired, you are not lying. You are commissioning a new pattern. Florence called this faith without wavering. We do not deny the present, we plant the future. And when your words shift, your gatekeeper shifts. Your attention starts finding the hidden pathways, a new idea, a conversation, a chance you wouldn't have noticed before. This is how the unseen becomes seen. This is how 3 words to reprogram your life begin working under your feet. Now, before we move to the 3rd key, I want to place a gentle bridge here. If you're ready not just to hear this truth, but to live it daily, join the 21-day challenge to create your dream life. The link is below. It's a simple walk together, a commitment to speak, imagine, and act from the new order you're choosing. And when you step into it, the momentum becomes real. Now, back into the story. 3. I choose, the word of authorship. I choose is where the crown returns to your head. So many people feel as if life happens to them, like they're a leaf in the river of circumstance, dragged by news, by family patterns, by old wounds, by economics, by fate. Florence shattered that trance with a calm smile. She said, "You are not the pawn, you are the player." I choose is the sentence that lifts you out of victimhood and sets you in the driver's seat. When you say, I choose peace, you stop waiting for the world to become peaceful first. You decide your inner climate. When you say, I choose to prosper, you stop taking crises as your identity. You align with a higher law of success. When you say, I choose right love, you stop repeating old menus of heartbreak. You order something new. Life is a vast menu, and every day, without realizing, people order the same dish. I choose worry. I choose doubt. I choose scarcity. I choose delay. Then they wonder why the waiter keeps bringing it. But I choose is the moment you point to a different line on the menu, different ingredients, different future. This is where everything changes, because choice is the lever of destiny. Now, gather these 3 keys in your hands. I am identity. I have possession. I choose authorship. Together they form a sacred trilogy, 3 notes that, when played in harmony, move the universe. Florence didn't invent the law, she translated it. She pulled it out of fog and put it into your mouth. These are 3 powerful words Florence Scovel Shinn taught to ordinary people so they could live extraordinary lives. And if you've ever wondered why spiritual teachings across cultures return again and again to the power of decree, to the spoken word, to the name of God within, this is why. Because creation begins in consciousness, and consciousness speaks. What if you've been using your voice like a candle when it was meant to be a wand? You might be thinking, but isn't it dishonest to say I have when I don't see it yet? Isn't that self-deception? Florence would answer softly, no, it is faith in action. Faith is not denial of what is. Faith is allegiance to what is becoming. If you are sick and you declare health, you are not pretending. You are claiming divine order. If you are in lack and you declare supply, you are not lying. You are aligning with the spiritual fact that God is your source, not conditions. If you are lonely and you declare right companionship, you are not making things up. You are opening the way for right relationships to appear. The spiritual world is seed world. The material world is harvest world. You cannot harvest what you refuse to plant. So you plant with words, and you plant repeatedly, because habits of language are not broken by one beautiful morning. They are retrained, like a river being redirected drop by drop. Expect yourself to slip. Expect old phrases to rise, not as proof you're failing, but as proof the training is working. Each time you catch yourself saying, "I can't," pause and say, "I choose a new way." Each time you hear, "I don't have," correct it with, "I have divine help, divine ideas, divine supply." Each time the sentence begins, "I'm just unlucky," rewrite it with, "I am blessed and guided." That moment of correction is holy. It's not small. It's you grabbing the wheel. And yes, it might feel awkward at first, like wearing new shoes. But new shoes carry you somewhere new. Old shoes only trace old roads. Let me offer you a practice Florence would love in its simplicity. For the next 7 days, become a gardener of speech, not a policeman hunting for mistakes, a gardener tending for flowers. Carry these 3 keys with you like golden coins. Let them interrupt you. Let them rescue you mid-sentence. When fear says, "I am stuck," reply, "I am guided." When lack says, "I don't have enough," reply, "I have more than enough for right action." When exhaustion says, "I can't handle this," reply, "I choose strength and wise steps." Write them on a card. Put them on your mirror. Set them as a note on your phone. Let life see you practicing a new language, because you are not merely changing words. You are changing the tracks your destiny runs on. Every phrase is a brick. Every brick builds a house, and you are building now. And you will start seeing receipts, a message appearing at the right moment, a solution where there used to be a wall, a small door you didn't notice before swinging open, not because God suddenly remembered you, but because your order became clear. Now, right here in the middle of this teaching, let me tell you a small story, the kind Florence loved, simple and true in spirit. There was a woman who used to sit by her kitchen window every morning, staring at bills she didn't know how to pay. She had a quiet voice, the kind that apologizes for existing, and every day she whispered the same sentence, "I am always struggling." She didn't mean to curse herself. She thought she was just being honest. One afternoon, she found a slim, worn book of Florence Scovel Shinn's words. She read a line that felt like a lamp switching on inside her chest. "Your word is your wand." And she decided, not dramatically, not perfectly, to change her order. She taped 3 little notes above the sink. "I am supported." "I have ideas and opportunities." "I choose peace over panic." At first, she said them with trembling disbelief, but she kept saying them, as if watering soil she could not yet see sprout. Within days, she noticed a strange thing. She wasn't hunting for dread anymore. She started seeing openings. A neighbor mentioned a part-time role. A friend passed her name along. A forgotten skill in her hands began paying her back. The outer world didn't flip overnight, but her inner world did, and the outer followed like a shadow. That is how it works, not by force, by faith spoken and repeated. Now I want to ask you something, and I want you to feel it rather than answer it quickly. Which of the 3 keys will you use first? Will you begin with "I am" and claim a new identity? Will you start with "I have" and declare possession of divine supply? Or will you lean into "I choose" and reclaim authorship today? There is no wrong doorway, only your doorway. And I want you to anchor it in the comments, not as a performance, but as a pact. Comment just one, "I am," or "I have," or "I choose." Let that be your public order, your witness in front of heaven, your first seed planted in clear soil. Here is what Florence wanted you to understand by the end of every teaching. You are not separated from the source. You are an outlet of it. The power that makes rivers flow and seasons turn is not far away, measuring your worth. It is within you as infinite intelligence, as intuition, as right action, as the quiet certainty that you are supported. When you speak in harmony with that power, life rearranges. Not always in the way the small mind expects, but always in the way divine order intends. So don't look for the universe to bend to your fear. It bends to your faith. Don't watch your past like a prophet. Watch your words like a creator. Because the cosmic counter is open 24/7, and there is no such thing as a neutral sentence. You are ordering all the time. The only question is, are you ordering from the old menu or the new one? Feel the ending rise now, because this is not where it ends. This is where it begins to act. Picture yourself again at that invisible counter, but this time you are awake. This time your voice is steady. This time you know the language. You step forward and you say, "I am blessed," and the universe moves to match you. "I have everything I need for right action," and pathways start appearing. "I choose abundance, peace, and right love," and the old pattern loosens its grip. Listen, the unseen is not waiting to be convinced. It is waiting to be commanded by your aligned word. Your word is the wand Florence spoke of, not because you are forcing life, but because you are finally cooperating with the law. So speak now like someone who remembers who they are. Speak now like someone who knows divine supply is real. Speak now like someone who chooses their reality before it arrives. Because these are 3 words that manifest miracles, not in fantasy, but in the daily mechanics of mind, faith, and right action. And if this truth has awakened something in you, stay close. The next revelation is already unfolding. The 21-day challenge is there for you when you're ready to live this, day by day, until your new language becomes your new world. Because the universe has always been obeying you. From every careless sentence, from every whispered fear, from every habit of doubt. And now it will obey your faith. Now it will obey your chosen identity. Now it will obey your conscious order. You are not waiting for the promise. You are the promise spoken aloud. And the moment you say it, the garden begins to change.